Good morning, grade 5, and a warm welcome to the English class. Well, children, all of us as children, even today now, all of us love balloons, right? On what occasions, children, do you think people have balloons? What are the different occasions where we have balloons? Of course, children love balloons. What are the occasions? Yes, birthday parties, celebrations, even wedding halls, they have balloons, right? Okay. Now, what's the difference, children, between a balloon that stays up? Stays up means there are some balloons you just leave it and then it goes up. Or if you have it in your home, you will see that it touches the ceiling. So, what's the difference between a balloon that stays up and the balloon that does not? Yes? Yes. Now, most of you are going to tell me, ma'am, gas balloon. Right? So, one is a helium filled and which does not is air filled, because helium is lighter than air. So helium balloons will float whereas air balloons will not. So children, let's move to today's lesson. Sorry, it's a poem. That's the balloon. So we are on unit 6, page 4646. They have invented a balloon that stays on the ceiling. Children, please keep your finger while reading. They have invented a balloon that stays on the ceiling. Now, children, see this word invented. What's the meaning of invented? Yes, please open your dictionaries and find the meaning of invented. Children, always pause and find the meaning of invented. Invented is to create or design something that has not existed before. So, you are the originator of something. That's the meaning of invented. So, what's the poet saying? That there's a balloon which stays on the ceiling. Stays on the ceiling means it does not come down, okay? And they have invented the balloon that stays on the ceiling. See, he's repeating it twice. Nevermore will I have that morning bring down feeling. Now children, see the word nevermore, it's highlighted. So we have to look for the word in the glossary. Look at the glossary, children. Nevermore is never again. Okay? When you say never means not at no time, in the past or the future, not ever. That's the meaning of never, at no time. What's the opposite of never? Think, always. Yes, and bring down feeling. Children, bring down feeling is what? Feeling sad and disappointed. This is a phrase. Bring down feeling is, the meaning of this phrase is feeling sad and disappointed. Waking up and seeing balloons I bought the day before. Children, now see this word bought is to buy, B-U-Y. See the spelling. It is not B-R-O-U-G-H-T. It is B-O-U-G-H-T. Many of us make mistakes here. Okay. So, nevermore will I have that morning bring down feeling. Waking up and seeing balloons I bought the day before. Lying on the floor. So, what is he saying? He's not going to feel sad or disappointed. So here he says that he feels happy when he sees the balloon up on the ceiling. No feeling bad, no feeling sad. Now it stays for days and days and nights, hanging out by my bedroom light. So here, children, how is the poet feeling over here? The poet is Michael Rawson, okay? So how is he feeling over here? Here he is having a happy feeling. Can you see? He is very happy that the balloon is, it's on the ceiling. So he is not feeling bad. He is not feeling sad. And for days, it is hanging out. Children, hanging out also is a phrase. Now what's the meaning of hanging out? Hanging out, children, in this poem, it is So children, let's move. Hanging out by my bedroom light. Hanging out means, children, here in the poem it means hanging next to something. It also refers, children, to the idiom which means hanging out means spending time with someone or your friends. Like evening you say, no, I was hanging out with my friends. So that's an idiom, hanging out. Never will we laugh at the balloon that couldn't last and floated in mid-air. Halfway between the ceiling and floor, the balloon that couldn't make its mind up whether to sink or to soar. Now children, see here, couldn't make its mind up. What's the meaning of this? It means it couldn't decide what to do. Like if someone gives you a choice between an ice cream, a chocolate ice cream and a strawberry one. So which one would you choose? You cannot decide. You cannot make up your mind. Okay. And soar, children, this word is, the meaning of this word is fly up in the air. If you see, it's there in the word check. The word is generally used with a kite, when you fly a kite or an aeroplane. Right? Now, children, couldn't, if you see this paragraph, okay, this over here, it means that the balloon is halfway. You know, the first day, children, you see that the balloon is right up touching the ceiling. And then the third or the fourth day, you would see, you would not know that whether the balloon is now, it's somewhere in the midway, whether it's going to touch the floor or whether it's still going to remain there halfway where it's now come a little below the ceiling. So that's the meaning of this paragraph. And we have Mr. Perfecto and numero uno. Now children, what is this? See, can you see? It's in bold. Okay, let's read further. The clever Dick, with its one stay in the air trick, never dropping, never stopping, never fated to be deflated, forever over our heads and over our beds, scarcely budging, gently nudging. Now children, these words, Mr. Perfecto, okay, and numero uno one, this, it means over here, Mr. Perfect and Spanish for number one. Clever Dick, children, you use it when you say that someone is who thinks they are very clever and likes to show off. It's like a nickname. So that's the meaning of clever Dick. Okay. Now, children, see the meaning of here, fated. What's the meaning of fated? Children, this word, it comes from fate, F-A-T-E. Okay. If you strike out the D, you get the word fate. Fate means, like you say, it is, please take out your dictionaries, children. Yes, fate is the development of events outside a person's control. Like sometimes, children, if when we are on the road and we see an accident, okay, some young person accident, then you say, oh, it's, fate. Or if something bad things happen to someone, so you say, oh, it's his fate. So that we say that, like, it is predetermined by some, we say it is by God or some supernatural powers. So we say it is fate. Fate can be something good also, like a person who has, a child who does not have the means for a good education, but then, he becomes a doctor. So then when he's successful, he says, that fate has brought me here. So there is, some power, something which has helped him to get that position. So that also could be fate. Of course, it's hard work and the goodwill of people. But it is like, you say he is destined to be that. So that's the meaning of fated. Fated is the development of events outside a person's control. We cannot control. Right now we are having this corona pandemic. Okay, we don't know. The vaccine is still there. people are trying to find out. So we can say it's, fated. Some people say it is fated. God has some plans. So we really don't know what it is, which is not in our control. So it is some supernatural power or what. So that's the meaning of this. Now deflate, children, is when you remove air. Okay, your cycle, you pump in air, and then when there is no air, like you have an air pillow if you're traveling. So that's when you fill in air, and then when you remove the air, that is deflate, when you remove the air. Now children, see this word here, scarcely budging. Can you see this? It's right below. Scarcely budging, gently nudging. Scarcely means, children, only just, almost little. Now think, if you're traveling by bus, children, and the seat is for 2 people, okay, and now you're tired and you want to sit. So then you will just nudge that person, like, you'll touch him and then you'll tell him that nudging is pushing, okay. So you generally tap him and then like you want to push yourself in just to sit over there. And that person over there, those 2 people, they are irritated, okay, because someone else is coming on the seat. So they just move a little, slightly, okay. So that's the meaning of scarcely budging, hardly moving. Scarcely budging is hardly moving. We can even have it in our classroom, children. Sometimes if there is some, we have some extra children coming in the class and they want to sit. So then you are uncomfortable and then you scarcely move yourself. Okay. Now to the next paragraph. Unbearably slow, the guest who won't go. Children, see this, the guest who won't go. What's the meaning of this? Children, sometimes you have some guest and you're happy that they have come, but then it so happens that sometimes they come often, or sometimes they stay for days together. So then you have this, oh, this guest, when will this guest go? So that's the meaning of the guest who won't go. So the poet over here, children, he's comparing the balloon to so many things. Can you see? Perfecto. Then what else? To the guest, okay, unwanted guest, not welcome guest, the unwelcomed guest. So that's the meaning of this. It's not a balloon, that's a lie. It's a spy. Children, find the meaning of spy. Please open your dictionaries. So I say, bring back the bring down, the balloon going to ground, the balloon that wrinkles and crinkles, the balloon that would often soften. Now children, see this word, wrinkles and crinkles, that's a phrase. Okay children, the meaning of this is, if you have your clothes ironed and neat, you see, okay, there are no lines on that, there are no folds. So that's the meaning of this. Even if you take a paper and you crumple it, okay, you will see it has lines. Even old people, if you see your grandma and grandpa, they have these lines on their face. So same way children with the balloon, if you see here, how does it look? Okay, it looks, there's air in it. And here, can you see, imagine a balloon, children, when the air is getting lesser and lesser, how it becomes. So that's the meaning. That's how the poet has described the balloon. Now children, look at this paragraph and look at this paragraph. Here, what's the feeling the poet has over here? And what's the feeling which the poet has over here? Think as we move along, okay? I don't want to live with the horror of the balloon that will be up there tomorrow. Children, this is a slang for tomorrow, like how you use in your WhatsApp, no? When you text, you use short forms with your friends. So that's the language which they have used here. The plastic freak. Children, all of us, we know plastic, okay? That's like steel, wood. So plastic also is one type of a material. Now freak is, children, freak generally we use for a person who is behaving very strangely. We say he's a freak or she's a freak. So now over here, children, plastic freak. Plastic freak means made of plastic and behaving very strangely. That's the meaning of plastic freak. Up there next week. The fear, it will be up there next year. Children, take time. Just read this verse again. Now, can you see here, children? Here, the poet is talking of horror. He doesn't want to live with the horror. Which horror? Of the balloon being there. Okay. Now, horror is what, children? Horror is an intense feeling of fear, shock, or disgust. So that's the meaning of horror. Now he's saying he doesn't want to see that balloon. Maybe it will be next week or next year. So what's the state of his feeling, children? From here, then here, on this and this. And let's see the last line now. I want to keep my appointment with disappointment. What's the meaning of this? I want to keep my appointment with disappointment. Children, take time to understand the first paragraph and this verse. You see the poet's feelings, children. See his feelings. It's a humorous poem. Humorous means funny. Okay. Now here he begins with, the poet begins like he's thrilled with the fact that he has a balloon and it's not going to get soft. It's not going to sink to the floor. But as it stays firm and floats, okay, then somewhere down as it progresses, as the poem is moving, you see the poem is getting annoyed and he's getting more annoying. He's getting annoyed. Annoyed means getting angry about this balloon, which it refuses. He says that the balloon is refusing to go. So that's what he says over here. I want to keep my appointment with the disappointment. So the poet is prepared. He is disappointed. So he is prepared. So you see from happiness how the feeling of the poem, how the poet is expressing his feelings. Now children, pay attention here. Generally after the lesson, I write these word check and phrases. Okay. Now children, I am not going to write. The idea is I want you to be independent. When I was doing this, I have explained every word check, the glossary and the phrases. Now what you need to do, children, is you need to pause. Okay. You can take a pencil and you can do the rough writing when I have explained this phrase. And then immediately you can open your notebook and you can start writing. Okay, phrases are to be written in the notebook. The word check you can always tick mark over here. So pause where I have explained the phrases and you will get the meaning. I'll quickly run through the word check, children. Okay, bring down, no, that's the phrase. Now here, soar. Soar is, children, it's to fly. What did I say? Fly up in the air. Fated. Fated is like destiny. What is not in our control. It is predetermined by supernatural power. So over here, fated is, what do we say? It is, yes, what will it be? Meant to be. Okay, I gave you that accident, the example of an accident. Okay, you see an accident. So fate can be positive also and negative. Like another example which I gave you is a child from a very poor background and then he grows up to become a doctor. So that's, you can say, fated. Or the recent air crash which you had in Kerala. You see both the pilots lost their life. So they say it is fated. So that's not what's not in our hands. Even this pandemic, that also could be an example. It is meant to be. Okay. Okay. Now deflated is, what are you doing? You remove the air. So empty of air. Nudging is pushing. Now children, the phrases. Please pay careful attention. Bring down feeling is what? Feeling sad and disappointed. Right? It's here. I've done it. The next one is, children, what? Hanging out. Here, children, hanging out means, in this poem, it means next to, hanging next to something. And hanging out also could be an idiom where you spending time with. Then couldn't make up its mind. couldn't make up its mind. I gave you the example of ice cream. Okay, couldn't decide what to do. What to do. Scarcely budging is hardly moving. Wrinkles and crinkles are what, children? It is the folds. And then you have the next word is what? Plastic freak. That's what? Made of plastic and behaving very strangely. So well children, that's all. Please do the word check and the phrases. Phrases will be in your notebook.